Hi, welcome to Syndy's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making lemon blueberry scones. Some people might say scones, or if you're in Scotland, you might say scone. But today we're calling it scone, rhymes with gone, because that's what will happen. They're so delicious. We're going to start with our dry ingredients. 2 cups of flour, and a little quick tip, if you don't want to sift your dry ingredients, you can use a whisk. So there's 1 cup, and I'm just using regular white flour, unbleached flour. So start with 2 cups, and the rest of the dry ingredients, very easy. A tablespoon of baking powder, and that's important because you really want a nice rise in your scone. Half a teaspoon of salt, and only 3 tablespoons of sugar, which is great for sugar-reduced diets. 3 tablespoons of sugar and you end up with 8 scones. Lastly, I love to put poppy seeds in my scones. It's not in the Martha Stewart recipe or Paul Hollywood, but I love that look, that polka dot look, and I also love the crunch of the scones. So that's your dry ingredients together. Next, the butter. I like to use unsalted butter just because I've already put salt in the recipe. And this is a little less than half a cup. It's 6 tablespoons of butter. I popped it into the freezer just before I started putting my dry ingredients, whisking them together. I like to use frozen butter because although you can use a pastry cutter to make it into like pea-sized butter chunks or cut it really into small little cubes, my favorite thing to get the most out of your butter incorporated into the scone is to use a box grater. Just a regular cheese grater, frozen butter, clean hands, and just grate it into the mix. And then you can see, come and have a look, G. You can see the little flakes of butter are teeny tiny. You can whisk it right into your mix, and it gets super incorporated really, really quickly. Once you've grated the frozen butter into your dry ingredients, just give it a quick little whisk, and then you're ready to add the blueberries and lemon zest. The recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of lemon zest, but I usually zest the whole lemon with my microplaner, which is a terrific tool because you don't get any of the lemon pith. You just get the zest. It's very easy to zest the lemon, and I like to do it in a little bowl so that it doesn't get lemon zest everywhere. But as you can see, it's about 2 teaspoons, not 1. But who doesn't love lots of lemon flavor? Yum. So 1 or 2 teaspoons of lemon zest and 1.5 cups of frozen blueberries, which I pre-measured out. And if you're using fresh blueberries, then I recommend that you add just a little bit of flour to those blueberries, because otherwise the blueberries end up kind of sinking in your scones and don't get perfectly mixed and placed. So just add a little bit of flour, and that will help keep them separated and from sinking. So once your butter's in, add your lemon zest and your blueberries, and then your mixture will look beautiful like this. Your wet ingredients are only 2. There is cream and eggs. When you're making scones, it's really nice to keep everything cold. Butter cold, cream cold, eggs usually have to be at room temperature when you're baking, but it's really nice to use cold ingredients for scones. So 1/3 cup of cream, and you can use heavy cream all the way up to 35% whipping cream if you want, or 18% coffee cream. I've got 10% table cream here. And whisk that 1/3 cup of cream with 2 eggs. That's your only wet ingredients. Once that's whisked nicely together, make a well in your dry ingredients and pour in your whisked wet ingredients like that. Now here comes the secret to fluffy scones. Really don't overwork your dough. So just use a fork to lightly dampen everything and get it kind of gooey, incorporating all that butter flakes in with the dry ingredients. Not too much overworking. You don't want your blueberries to get gummy. So after you've dumped your mixture out onto a lightly floured table, just squeeze it together. You don't really need to knead it, otherwise it'll be too dense. You want it to be nice and light and fluffy. So just kind of squeeze it all together into a square or circle. I've got a really nice oval shape here. We're going to want 8 scones. So with your bench scraper or a sharp knife, flour it up a little bit and cut it into 8. Oh, and a tip, before you get your hands messy, make sure you preheated your oven to 400 degrees. So this is the fun part for fractions with the grandkids. Cut it into once diagonally, or sorry, once horizontally, once vertically, and then each piece diagonally. So you should get 8 perfect scones, and you might want to lightly flour your bench scraper or knife between each one. So beautiful. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Pop your 8 triangles onto a cookie sheet covered with parchment paper. And the final step is to top each scone with a bit of cream and, if you wish, some sugar. Okay, finally, just dampen the tops, not sides, of your scones with a little bit of the cream. If you want to use an egg wash, it will make them look a little bit browner. The cream just gives it a really nice soft crunch of a crust, and it won't be as brown as using egg wash, but I like it with the cream much better. If you want, you can put a little bit of crunch on. I don't like extra sugar, but lots of folks do. So just a little sprinkle of white sugar on half the scones will give it that little caramelized brown crunch. Pop it into your 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. While you're waiting for the scones to bake, you can make a quick lemon curd. 4 ingredients, 4 minutes. I know that sounds crazy, but really, just the juice from 1 lemon. And how many of you had one of these old juice? There's the from my mama. Half a cup of sugar, an egg, and a couple of tablespoons of butter that's melted. Not too hot. Make sure it's pretty cool before you mix everything together, or you might scramble your egg. Whisk together that half a cup of sugar with 1 egg, and then add the juice from the wet lemon and a couple tablespoons of cooled melted butter. Whisk that together and pop it into the microwave on high for 1 minute. Whisk again, another minute, whisk again, another minute, and in 4 minutes you will have this beautiful curd that after 5 minutes or so, if it coats the back of a spoon, it's ready to eat. So much faster than stirring and stirring, stirring the old lemon pie filling. Okay, 20 minutes. Let's see what they look like. Beautiful. Beautiful brown, fluffy blueberry and lemon poppy seed scones. Smells terrific. So these scones held their shape really well, but if you find that yours are spreading a bit, just pop them into the freezer for about 10 or 15 minutes before you put them in the oven. Just like a sugar cookie, you don't want it to spread. Everything that's chilled works so much better in a scone. So I just cut this one with a serrated knife, and here is your 4 ingredient, 4 minute lemon curd. If it coats the back of a spoon, you know that it's ready. You can put a little bit on your scone if you wish, or butter, double damage your cream, whatever you like. Tea and scones, delicious. Thanks for coming to Syndy's Kitchen.